my goodness, Big Daddy Bloodstone was so wealthy he was able to have his corpse filled with animatronics and machinery to become a mechanical marionette just to amuse the people who went to his funeral. Now that is a pimp right there. Welcome in. It is I, the Mantis. Welcome to my review of Werewolf by Night, only on Disney+. This is the first of the Halloween specials of the season. Stay tuned to this channel because we're going to be discussing a lot of them as time goes by. But this is the first one, and when you hear that it is a Marvel comic books Halloween special, it almost makes you want to cringe. What are they going to do? Have Iron Man's corpse rip out of the ground and narrate a few horror stories? Of course not. Instead, they chose this. A parody, or should I say an actually perfect homage to monster movies of the 40s. It's even done in black and white, which sometimes seems like something that would be too daring for the MCU, but they decided to do it. All the actors that have it were relative no-names. This was all a risk. With a running time of only 1 hour, what could they possibly provide for us? I was curious and I had to check it out. And quite frankly, I am very pleased that I did. I absolutely love this. I only had 2 complaints. One was a stylistic complaint, so small I'm only going to put it at the end of the spoiler section of this review. And the other one was that it was too short. 1 hour was not enough with Elsa Bloodstone, The Man-Thing, and Werewolf by Night. It is creepy, it is weird, it is camp, but camp in all the right ways. I think one of the problems with camp horror nowadays is that most people really don't know how to execute it, or execute it well. I think Buffy the Vampire Slayer was the last of its kind, or maybe What We Do in the Shadows, but this actually does it all perfectly. It's the perfect homage to the area of film they're trying to mimic, down to cigarette burns and old-style filmage, and even the score dominated the way an old 40s movie was. It was done perfectly. It was short, but it was bloody, and for a Marvel piece, had kills that I really appreciated. I'm going to watch this multiple times before Hallows Eve officially hits us, because it is fun to watch some of these people. They're very cheesy deaths, but they're something you might want to find in a slasher movie. It's strange that this little movie that could, directed by Michael Giacchino, who you might know who actually does scores for movies, particularly superhero and horror movies, and now this is his first time directing, and the fact that he got actors that he has true faith in rather than people who are stunt casting or celebrities or award winners, and they end up making the best piece of anything they've ever made on Disney Plus to date. It's fascinating that this would happen. I'm hoping to see a lot of new things from Michael Giacchino and new things from all these actors who I almost didn't know existed. It's funny that you kind of wish that the people who make the movies and the other shows could take notes of this little project to see how it's done right and to do it on something that has both style and substance and isn't just about special effects or Easter eggs / cameos, which seems to plague MCU properties. Moving more into the spoiler section of this review, it ends up premiering 3 very likable characters. The first is, of course, the Werewolf by Night, known as Jack, and then Elsa Bloodstone, another comic book favorite. I used to read Next Wave, so I'm really a fan of her and her whole family and their shenanigans. And then finally, Man-Thing, who I remember seeing on many covers of old comic books, but I don't think I've ever read a comic book with him in it. And I got to say, I was pleasantly surprised. As I said, it was camp, so there are cheesy, silly moments, but they always make you smile. I never regretted experiencing any of this camp right here. And the 3 of them would be perfect to move on. As a matter of fact, they casted nobodies to play them, but I think they would steal the show in any Midnight Suns movie or adaptation. What are the Midnight Suns? Well, actually, it's interesting. Recently, the Blade movie self-destructed. The director stormed off and didn't want to do it anymore, and therefore Kevin Feige took what he saw in the script that he didn't like in the first place, and they're having him rewrite it. But originally, it was supposed to be both a Blade flashback origin movie, as well as him recruiting people for a team that would later on be known as the Midnight Suns. In comic books, they're almost like a Justice League Dark, a group of Marvel heroes who deal with the occult, the supernatural, killing vampires and all that fun stuff. A Task Force X against the supernatural. And that's being rewritten, so who knows what characters or what will appear in any of that. However, the original rumors that the Midnight Suns would contain some of these characters, particularly Werewolf by Night. Now, I think that the three of them are so charming, so fun to deal with. I would love to have a monster killing or vampire hunting Midnight Suns movie that featured Blade, Moon Knight, the Black Knight, Werewolf by Night, Elsa Bloodstone, and Man-Thing. Maybe one other if they want to mix it up a little. But the six of them would be so amazing on screen. It would be such a good time watching them kill vampires. I would be all about it. Now, getting into something I didn't particularly care for in this piece is that at the end, for some reason, when Elsa Bloodstone gets the Bloodstone that her family is guardians of, she sits down exhausted from the battling she's been doing, and she looks down into it, and slowly her arm starts to gain color, and everything is gaining color. It's almost infectious across the board, and you hear somewhere over the rainbow, straight out of The Wizard of Oz. And later on they cut over to Man-Thing, now in color, and Werewolf by Night, and the whole thing is a colorful end to the piece, and it exists for literally no reason. I was enjoying the black and white. They did not have to infect us with color. I would have rather them end on the black and white. It's almost like one could say, you ruined it. You mastered black and white in a superhero / horror film, and then you reneged on it because you didn't have enough confidence in it. I think it's supposed to indicate that they're going to be joining the larger MCU, and I dig that. I get that understanding, but I just prefer them to stay their old black and white 40s influenced characters, and they could have just left the black and white dominating the piece. But what do I really know? The real question is, what do you, ghouls and ghosts, think of this? Please tell me you checked it out, and please let me know what you thought of it. Do you want to see more of the Werewolf by Night, or Elsa Bloodstone, or what did you think of Man-Thing? Completely silly, or an amazing piece of horror / superhero addition to such a terrible team like the Midnight Suns? Please let me know down in the comments. Remember to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and come back to kill me like one of your French girls for all the latest reviews dominating October as we discuss horror and, most importantly, Halloween. Until next time, ta-ta.